getting windy, and that made me think of, I have to hold up these things down, and it made me think of the end of Mary Poppins. Do you remember the end of Mary Poppins? When Mary Poppins arrives at the Banks house, the children are very excited to have this magical nanny, and they ask her how long she's going to stay, and she says, until the wind changes. And then when the wind does change, she puts her umbrella up and flies away again, because all adventures come to an end. And sometimes that's happy and sometimes that's sad. At the end of Michael Morpurgo's famous book, Kensky's Kingdom, the little boy has been marooned by himself, or nearly by himself, no spoilers, on a desert island. And it's obviously that's very difficult and dangerous. And at the end, it's very, very happy because his mum and dad come and rescue him again. But as they sail away, he's quite sad to be leaving the adventure behind. And in The Tiger Who Came to Tea, do you remember the tiger who came to tea? Came and drank all the water in the tap and drank all Daddy's beer and ate all the food. And then eventually he goes away. There he is going away. Come right in. And obviously they're really happy that he's gone away because they need food. And nobody wants a tiger in the house except for Joe Exotic. But when he's gone, they kind of miss him and they go shopping for tiger food. And they hope he comes back. But he never did. And sometimes when adventures end, it's good to be home, but it's kind of sad as well. And there's always the promise of a new adventure. At the end of Winnie the Pooh, Christopher Robin takes Winnie up to the edge of the wood and says to him, they're not going to let me do nothing anymore. Which I think probably means he's going to be sent away to school or something like that. And so that he won't be playing with Winnie the Pooh all the time the way he did. And Winnie the Pooh's very sad, and Christopher Robin says, will you still come up here and will you still play? And Winnie the Pooh's all confused and says, well, by myself. And Christopher Robin makes him promise never to forget him, and as long as he doesn't forget him, they'll be together. It says at the end, whenever they go and whatever happens to them, on the way in that enchanted place at the top of the forest, a boy and his bird will always be playing. Do you remember this? King Arthur, the story of King Arthur starts with him finding a sword in the stone, but it ends in a terrible battle, and King Arthur dies and asks Sir Bedivere to take his sword away and throw it into the lake. And Sir Bedivere takes the sword away but thinks that's too nice a sword to throw in the lake. So he comes back and says, yeah, I've done it. And King Arthur says, did anything happen? And Bedivere says, yeah, threw the sword in the lake. It just went in the lake. And Arthur says, that's not true. Go back and throw the sword in the lake. So he goes and throws the sword in the lake, and what happens, do you remember? A hand reaches out, the lady of the lake takes the sword back. So there's always this promise that King Arthur will come back. So every goodbye is a kind of hello. And you've been through this kind of amazing adventure, a strange adventure, where you've been stuck at home and the world has been very, very different. And quite soon, I think, the world will be the right way up again. And you'll see your friends again, and maybe you'll be going to school soon, and everything will feel like normal, and you'll be happy that it's gone back to normal. But maybe you're leaving something behind as well, and maybe that something behind is something you can take with you in your heart and you'll come back to. So this week's writing mission is to write me a cracking goodbye scene, because this might be, if you go back to school, this might be our last creative writing lesson. So you could say goodbye to me and I'll say goodbye to you. But we'll carry something with us, the wonderful stories that you've written, which will stay online on the website. So this is a goodbye from me. And this is the end. I'm going to read you as my goodbye, the end of Sputnik's Guide to Life. And in Sputnik's Guide to Life, a little kind of alien dog has been to Earth and has been a best friend of Prez, and they've had amazing adventures because Sputnik has got things like he can ride a gravity wave, so they can learn to float, and he's got this thing called reverse dynamite, which is dynamite that blows things back together again. So he blows Hadrian's Wall back together. But at the very, very end, Sputnik takes off the backpack that he carries everywhere, which is what keeps him down on the Earth, because he has a different gravity, and without the backpack, he starts to float off. So where is that? So he takes the backpack off and he starts to float away. He took his leather dog collar off and handed it to me. That's not mine, he said. Then he undid his safety belt, and the moment he did that, undid the belt on his backpack, he started to float. A little breeze like this one caught him, and he began to drift away like a cloud. I ran after him, shouting, "Is this it? Is the planet about to shrink? What do I do now? Where are you going?" "No," said Sputnik. Sorry, I should have said Sputnik needs to find 10 things that make Earth worth saving in order to save the Earth. And he's found the 10th thing. "No," said Sputnik, "I found the 10th thing for the list. It was that knot." "What knot?" "Home. You got it all wrong. You're a temporary child looking for a permanent home. You were looking in the wrong place all the time. I told you, architecture is boring. Home is not a building. People leave buildings. Buildings fall down. Planets shrink, suns explode, planets come and planets go. Home is not a place on the map. Home isn't the place you come from. It's the place you're heading to. All the times you ever felt at home, they're just marks on the map, helping you find your way there. But you can't just leave me. I'll be on my own. I've told you, I'm like a comet. I go round and I come back again, with my glove on the other hand. But that'll take millions of years." "Time isn't a straight line," said Sputnik. "Dog years are different from human years. Everybody knows that. Please, don't go. It's like this. You go off on an adventure and then you come home. Well, that's what the universe is doing. Ever since the Big Bang, it's been heading off into the unknown on its great adventure. But one day, the day will come when it'll all go back to the beginning and everything will come home again. Everything that was broken will be fixed, and everything that was forgotten will be remembered. It'll be like the biggest reverse dynamite explosion ever, and then we'll be back together, and we'll be home again. Goodbye. Don't." So I realised when I was talking in the lesson that I got a bit emotional, and I forgot really to explain the writing mission. The writing mission this week is very simple. Write me a scene where you're saying goodbye to someone that you love, or saying goodbye to a great adventure. The adventure is coming to an end. Could be a magical person, could be a real person that you're saying goodbye to, could be an invented person, or saying hello. Because think about all the friends that you're going to see when lockdown is finally over and saying hello to them. So goodbye or hello, happy or sad, that's up to you. Get them into me by Thursday afternoon. We'll try and get them up on the Instagram on Friday morning, read by me or by somebody more exciting than me. And don't forget, Wednesday at 10 o'clock, as ever, will be a live session when you can say hello, goodbye, or ask me any questions that you like. I'll see you then.